Somebody's calling my name.
I remember that at that time, I worked in a factory located in the state of Michigan. And I had a colleague who was a native of the state of Tennessee. Among many conversations we had with him, he told me a story, which according to him, is very popular in his hometown, and many claim it is true. I don't remember the name of the town very well, but the story is as follows. It is about a boy who lived alone with his mother in a small town in Tennessee. The neighbors in the area loved him very much, since he was always doing some errands or small jobs in different businesses and houses in the town, and in that way, able to give a little help to his mother. This boy was well known in the town, since he always did his tasks for both money and merchandise. When he turned 16, he was able to get a moderately stable job in a small company in town, where at night he was in charge of cleaning the place, among other different tasks. In that place, he worked for a couple of years until he came of age. And it was at that moment that a local radio announcer advised him, saying,
"Why don't you join the police? Maybe that way you can secure a future."
The young man responded that he did not want to leave his mother alone, but that he would like to be a police officer and thus be able to take care of people. This man, the announcer, he told him,
"Stay calm, boy, I'm gonna help you."
Since everyone knew him as a child and had great affection for him, taking advantage of his radio program, the announcer asked on the radio for a small collaboration so that this young man could join the police. Many people collaborated. You could say that almost the entire town gave a little help. In short, the young man was finally able to achieve his goal and be a police officer, and also return to his town and start working with his people. Everyone received him with great joy, because this young man seemed to be the son of the people. A week after starting work at the police station, they received a call from a local merchant who had apparently seen unknown and suspicious people hanging around his fields. For those who don't know, livestock theft is very common in Tennessee. Immediately, the police came to the scene, and among them was this young rookie. They began to tour the place where the owner had seen the intruders. It was night, and at one point, they came face to face with the supposed cattle thieves. At that moment, a fierce shootout began, and where unfortunately, a projectile hit the recently received young police officer from the town, who sadly died a few minutes later. But the story does not end here. Shortly after his death, many in the town claimed that they saw him at night, walking the street, as if taking care of the people of his beloved neighborhood. And it is also said that when someone tries to get closer to observe it more closely, this young man disappears or is seen getting lost in the alleys of the neighborhood. Normally, he appears at night. Some claim that from time to time, you can see this young man in uniform who has already died in the back seats of police vans when they usually patrol the neighborhood at night. Obviously, this is always denied by the police, who claim that no one accompanies them. On another occasion, it was a couple who claimed that one night, during a heated argument they were having in the middle of the town square, and where the boyfriend was preparing to punch the girl, this young man claims that they grabbed him tightly by the arm. And when he turned to see who was arresting him, he realized that it was this young police officer, who without saying a word threw him hard to the ground and disappeared as if by magic. The fear that this situation generated in the couple was such that the two ran away from there in terror, since both the young man and the girl knew the story of the murdered young police officer. and the most impressive case was that of a girl, about 5 or 6 years old, who while camping with her family, got lost. And after 8 hours, while everyone was looking for her, including the police, the girl appeared safe and sound. When they asked this girl where she had been, she said she did not remember, but that a police officer accompanied her and took her to the road, where a police car was located. After a few days, when the parents had to go to the police station to give a statement and fill out some forms, they say the girl began pointing to a photograph on the wall. And with total and complete joy, she told her mother that this man was the one who had rescued her the day she was lost. The photograph on the wall was that of this young police officer. A young police officer who, perhaps from an astral plane, continues to take care of his people. I remember that, at the end of the years 90, my older sister started playing with a group of friends, the cup game. This game is very similar to the Ouija board. The only difference is that instead of a pointer, a cup is used. Her first sessions were so successful, according to her, that soon it became common to practice it daily. For this group of friends, it had become fun, and it was common that after dinner they wanted to get in touch with the dead. But unfortunately one day, everything went wrong, until it got to the point that one of the members of the group of friends ended up dead. That night, as on so many other occasions, the group of friends gathered around the cup to make their invocations. They lit some candles and began. The first question they asked was if any spirit was in the room, and immediately the cup moved to the word yes. The next question was if this spirit was a man or a woman, to which for a few minutes they did not get an answer. When in doubt why they did not respond, one of the boys thought to ask if this spirit was good or bad. Unfortunately for them, the cup moved again, and this time spelling the word evil. At that moment the boys got scared and wanted to end the session, but one of them insisted to ask a couple more questions and confirm what had been spelled before. Unfortunately, he asked the question that you should never ask in this type of game. The teenager asked, "Why are you saying you're bad? Can you cause us any harm?" This time the cup not only moved, but it did so at an unusual speed, spelling the phrase, "Before the rooster crows, one of you will die." At that moment, the cup began to vibrate, bursting into 1,000 pieces. There was a power outage in the neighborhood, and the lit candles that were around the game went out all at once. This left them very scared, and they decided that it was best to each go home. That night, my sister came home and asked my mother to cure her evil eye, because she felt like her head was exploding from the pain. At that time, I would have been about 11 years old, and I remember seeing my sister, all sweaty and with her face filled with tears. My mother, a brave and determined woman, wanted to cure her headache, according to a ritual she knew. She did it to him 3 times, and in 3 different ways. But it was useless. Her headache wouldn't go away, and it seemed like it was getting worse and worse. My mother immediately woke up my dad, and told me and him to hold hands, while my sister remained in the middle of that kind of circle that we had formed. I remember she started praying, and asked me and my dad to repeat the prayer with her. After about 10 minutes of praying hard, my sister fainted, falling at the feet of all of us. At that moment, my mother asked me to go get some water from the kitchen. I instantly walked down the hallway that leads to the kitchen, and when I turned on the light, I saw at the kitchen door an enormous dark figure that was disappearing through the exit door. At that moment I froze, with the fear I could feel. when I reacted to my mother's scream calling me. I took a glass of tap water and took it to her. When I arrived with my parents, my sister was already awake, saying that she felt much better. I gave her the water, but I didn't say anything about what I had seen, since I didn't want to upset the situation further. The next day, my mother scolded my sister strongly and told her to stop playing that damn game. The most tragic thing about all this was that same day at noon, my sister received a call from one of the friends in the group, telling her that Richard, the teenager who had asked the questions, arriving home at 5 in the morning, he was hit by a car, which lifted him into the air, causing his head to burst against the asphalt as he fell. According to forensic experts, the teenager died instantly, and the culprit of the accident was never found. My sister was taken to the church to be blessed by a parish priest who was a friend of the family. My mother told her what had happened, and the priest took the opportunity to introduce them to a Jesuit exorcist priest who was passing through on a mission. This Jesuit priest warned them that this game, which really is not a game, could bring possession of the person, depression, suicide, or even open a portal, giving way to unwanted entities that attach themselves to people, causing their lives to go downhill. And well, friends, comment below what you thought of these two stories, and don't forget to leave me a like. I send a big hug to all of you.